In this video, we're going to be discussing the purchasing and receiving of purchase orders. So let's go into the Purchasing tab and select Create and Receive POs. Now, we currently have many purchase orders that are waiting to be released. These POs came from sales orders that we were able to create POs from, but you can create a purchase order without using the sales order. So if I click New Purchase Order, it asks me who the vendor is I'm purchasing from, and I select, and I'll select Anchor Hocking. And this is the vendor's ID. Here's our PO number. There's three different ways to have PO numbers. You can have sequential numbers. You can have numbers like this, which are sequential, but it uses the date, 2000-512, the first PO of the day, and the initials. Or you can leave it blank and just type in whatever number you want to type in. This is your shipping method. You can have multiple shipping methods. I'm using Federal Express as my one and only. And of course the terms. Terms can be changed, and you can select those terms for this particular purchase order for this vendor. Now your ship to right now defaults to coming to your own warehouse, but you can change the ship to and go to a specific customer as a drop ship. So if you pick customer, a window comes up, and we can then go ahead and send it to Bay West. And we'll use this for our destination tag. So we're going to say select highlighted. Alright, so we know it's going to be a drop ship, and it's going to come from Anchor Hocking. So we're completed with that. We say OK. Now it asks us what is the vendor's part number. So if I click Add Lookup, I'm only going to see Anchor Hocking's items. I will not see any other vendor's items. So we're going to select beer mug and mixing glass and margarita glass, and say select. So it says, well, what do you want? Obviously this is a case, so we're going to say we want 2 cases of this, and our cost is $28.10, but if we wish, we could change it to $30 if the vendor has a higher cost. We can ask for a specific ship date, telling the vendors when we want it shipped or when we expect to get it in. We also can edit the description and put a very long description in here if we wish. Any kind of special instructions, whatever, can be in this description. So we're saying OK on this one. It automatically pops up to the next one we selected, and we're going to order 3 of those and 5 of these. Okay, so we've created our purchase order based on our selection, not on a sales order selection. There is no link to the sales order in this purchase order. Okay, and down here you see the PO, the terms, how we're going to ship it. We have a thing called vendor rules that we could look and see what kind of rule was in place, whether it be what we needed for free freight or whether there was a charge for a reduced short ship. This purchase simulator is for the replenishment system that is not active on my system at this time, but once it is, it'll allow you to get an idea of what you should be ordering based on the replenishment system that is being developed. So once this is complete, we say save and process now. If I hit save, I can come back to it and keep working on it. If I say process now, I'm releasing the purchase order to the vendor. Then I can't make changes. So by doing that, I click on my receive PO, and here's my anchor hocking, and you'll notice a little truck here. That truck means it's being drop shipped. The one above means it's coming into my warehouse. That's the little warehouse icon. So on this one here, these are the items that we're supposed to be getting. Okay? And on the screen, by the way, we have what's called a auto quote purchase order tracking system for the company's POs. So if I open that up, I would see all the different purchase order information here. If I close this and say update PO statuses, and this, you need a key from AutoQuotes, and this will help you track in positive what items are coming in, what are being back ordered, the same as if you were on the AutoQuote website and checking a purchase order for what came in. You can do it right here from the Purchase Order Center. And again, this, if it's done for the first time, it goes back several years worth of purchase orders. And that's why it does take a little bit of time. You also have the ability, if you've got two POs, to merge. If they're both coming to the same warehouse from the same vendor, you could merge the two POs into one PO and get the free freight. You also have the ability to receive a purchase order without actually creating one. So when it comes in, you can create the PO and receive it all on the same form. You also have the ability to export this purchase order, and when you export it, it'll go out into a comma delimited or Excel file, and then that can be sent as a poor man's EDI system to be able to provide the information to the manufacturer or the vendor of what you want without actually using a PO, and they just import it into their system. You can also email purchase orders, and when you highlight items, you could look at a thing called info bar. An info bar will tell you what's going on with that item, what you've bought in the past, what you've sold in the past. And this thing is running a long time, so I'm going to see if I could stop it. I guess not. Okay. So let's just see if it did collect anything. No. Oh, yes. So here's, you can see, looking at these items that were received. Here's a lot of canceled, and you can see the date. This is 2015. We can go to the bottom here and look at things from Perlick. One was shipped. Altosham. These are different methods for you to know what was ordered, what was shipped, and then over on the side here it tells you who the carrier was there a tracking number, and was there any items back ordered on this particular order. So that will give you a updated status of POs that have not been received yet and have been received. So we have an idea if the customer calls and wants to know when their product is going to be arriving on the drop ship. So if I've got this done, because this was a drop ship, I hit receive edit. It asks us, do we have a packing slip or an invoice number, and we'd have to get that on a drop ship from a confirmation, or we could leave it blank until we get the actual invoice in and then put the invoice in the accounts payable. So that's what we'll do. And if there's any additional freight costs, etc. The reason we're doing this is to be able to create the accounts payable invoice. We do not receive any inventory in because it's going directly to the customer. So I'm going to go ahead and say receive all and then post it. Receive now. And if there's any price changes, it'll come up and say, hey, the price has changed. You want to change your sell price. All right, so we show what we're receiving to stock. At this point, we can look at if there was a customer orders for any of these items. We know that if they had back orders, that some of those items came in. Here's a cost summary. Price management if we want to change pricings. We have landed cost, where if there was freight, we could capitalize the cost of the freight into the actual cost of the item based on weight, cost, or number of items received. And location manager is just going to ask us where we want to put these things. Are we going to put those in the warehouse? Are we going to put these in the showroom? So right now in our warehouse we have 9. And if we say from the warehouse to the showroom, we're going to move 3 of them. So now we have 6 in the warehouse and 3 in our showroom. And we are completed. And if we look in our accounting, in our AP processing on posted, we see our Anchor Hocking invoice ready to be paid, and we're just looking for a invoice number, which we'll put in once we get the copy of the invoice from the vendor. We'll go ahead and say, all right, we got the copy, and we're going to say post approved. And let's see this one. We said that one. Post approved. So they're missing an invoice number, so they can't be processed. So we've got to go ahead in this one here, and we have to put the invoice number in. So we're going to say edit, and we're going to put the invoice in right here. The invoice from the vendor, that's the PO. And if there's any changes to the line items on the cost, all we do is say edit, and we can change the cost to $29. Not $39, $29. Okay, and we won't bother making any price changes. So that's how we can tie our actual invoice to the item here. So we'll save. Now that we've done that and it's check marked, we can say post approved. And now that Anchor Hocking is living in my posted, ready to be paid. The little red balls here mean I'm outside my discount period. Yellow would mean I'm 10 days out, and green would mean I'm still in my discount period and I got plenty of time to pay the invoice.